Well, it's a rainy day. We left Mohawk Harbor and we are abeam red 86, it seems here. Even though it's raining now, it should clear up today, and we are coming up on another bridge. And as you remember, all the bridges are numbered, and this one is a railroad bridge, as you could see. And the height going through this railroad bridge is about 24 feet. Just saw a train go over it. This railroad bridge is numbered E12, but we'll be taking it slow going through the bridge. Our depth out here is about 13 feet. Everything is looking good. Had a couple days of rain, so I'm hoping, if anything, we got a little bit more water going through some of the more challenging areas of the Erie Canal up near the Rome area. You won't see a lot of fender boards or tide boards or whatever you want to call them to give you the height of the bridge, so we're just going to have to go what it's off the charted, and certainly that looks high enough for us to get under. Always fun going underneath the bridges. Well, we are now approaching Red 100 off to the starboard side, and if you go up on the starboard side of that island is a little place called Scotia Landing. I wouldn't take a boat this size in there, but I think if you're around 40 feet, maybe 42 or so, depending on your draft, you could get up there. I do know people who have taken 47-foot the fever in there. So it depends on the water level. Make sure you call ahead and try to get some knowledge of what's going on. We see some buildings off to the left over here. The town of Scotia. We are hoping, and I can kind of see a clearing line. I see a clearing line on our radar, on our phones. And right now, if I turn the radar on the boat, we wouldn't see much more than ground clutter here. But long-term prospect is that we should be in the clear for the first lock that we are going to go through today, which is E8. So here we are at the E13 bridge. Moving along nicely, got about 900 RPM or so, and doing 7 miles, not putting out much of a wake. So mile 21.6 westbound on the Erie Canal. So just coming around the bend here, we see a sailboat, so we kind of moved over for them. A friendly wave, and get back in the center of the channel. Approaching Red 104 on the starboard side.
Other way.
Well, that happens once in a while. Get a little autopilot. Did want to turn, and there may have been some current there. So the best thing to do when that happens is just hit that and disengage it. I'm re-engaging it now, and that puts us in the heading hold. So I'll elect to go direct to point 24 and engage the autopilot. That way I can monitor outside. So I'm going to give the lockmaster a call and see what's going on there. We should get there probably in about 25 minutes, so we'll see what's up ahead. If he's got any traffic, he could start planning for that. So Let's give him a call. Well, Lock 8 must be busy, so what we'll do is try to go on here and see from an AIS perspective. I want to make sure my AIS is on. Something I forgot to do this morning on my checklist. And we'll be able to see if there's any targets in there, known targets in there. But for now, we're just going to sit back and enjoy it. Well, we see Lock 8 and the dam to the right of the lock. The doors are closed, the red light's on. We've contacted them via VHF, so we've just throttled it back here and we'll see what happens. Probably get it turned around. Lock 8 is not as far up as the previous ones that we had. This one's only 14 feet, so even if he does have to turn it around, shouldn't be much of a issue. So we'll be looking at that signal, the red light there, and then prior to that we'll probably see the doors swinging open. Wait for the green light and enter the lock, and I'm just going to check with them that a port side tie is good. And Lock 8 for the westbound PC, is a port side tie good, sir?
Port side tie is good. Locks 9 and 10 require a port side tie.
Thank you, sir. Locks 9 and 10 require a port side tie. So Rev is telling me to slow down. In order to slow down, I've got to take this thing off of autopilot. Yeah. Gate is opening. Right. Slowing down. So we have the Arrowhead Marina and RV Park. And again, if you have a smaller boat, they may be able to fit you in if they do take transients. But certainly the Here's to Us isn't going in there. But one of the things that you need to be cautious of is, you know, pull that speed back so you're not waking the boats and the marina here. So we're going to bring it back even further. We brought it back to from 7.5 to 6.5. We're even going to come back even a little further. And you'll see up here, there are two ways to go under that bridge. Westbound traffic one way, eastbound the other way. So we are going to follow the markers through that. Still about 900 RPM and about 7.2 miles per hour. And we'll have about 2 miles to go once we get under this bridge to the lock. So we'll give the lock a call here probably in about 10 minutes. See if they're ready for us. Now 24.5 feet is what it's charted at. So plenty of room. And still kind of a dreary day, but the rain has pretty much stopped. It's just a light drizzle out there. We are looking at Lock 9. It's on the north bank as we're heading westbound, and just beyond that you'll see a bridge there, E16, which is State Route 103. The gates are wide open. We had given them a call, told us, reminded us that it is a port tie. Rev is out there and she's got the fenders ready, so we're just proceeding at a calm 6.8 miles per hour here, and we'll slow it down as we get even closer. But you can see that dam over there, and you need to not get too close to that dam. There's a pretty good current in there, and I do see a log out here just off to the port side. Looks like we're going to clear that, so be looking for debris as you come through here. Easy to get fixated on the lock and everything, but kind of take a look around what's going on. That looks like a pretty good log there, Rev. Log, or it's a board or something. Yeah. A good amount of water coming through there. And I do see the green light. We just passed red 192 on our starboard side. As we're coming around this bend, we can see Cranesville Lock, which is E10, and so I'm going to give them a call. Lock E10, Lock E10, motor vessel, here's to us.
Here's we're all ready for you. Port side tie on the way to come in, please.
All right, port side tie. Thank you much, sir. You can see the dam off to the starboard side. So we got it under control. Pretty easy going westbound in the fall. There's nobody out here. All right, so let's get ready to get into lock 10. All right, coming up on the lock, we're slowed down, and we're going to slow it down a little bit more. You can see the gates are open. Flags just kind of in there, maybe about 5 to 8 miles an hour, not a big deal. Dam off to the right. And lock 10 clearly in view, so green light is visible. Rev is out there on the port side and going to be directing me as to where we're going to be, which line we're going to be taking. An update as we move along westbound on the Erie, about mile 37 or so. And we are going to be coming up, I'm going to be showing it to you, it is Riverlink Park. We're coming into the town of Amsterdam, and on the eastern side of the town of Amsterdam, it's a Riverlink Park. You can tie up there. There's a high wall and a low wall. You'll see it. Currently, no boats there, so it is an option for us. Beyond that, there is a bridge, State Route 30, and then a pedestrian bridge, both high enough for us to get under. And 38 and 27 feet respectively. So no one's there, but what we are going to do is we've talked to the lockmaster up there. There is, and we're going to go through one more lock. It's about 1.5 miles beyond Riverlink. So that way in the morning we'll get an early start and have about 4 miles to lock E12, and then we'll have some options after that. But I think we've had enough for today, so we were either going to do Riverlink or the free wall with power, which is, I think it's nice because it's quiet there. I mean, we'll have some train noise. You're going to have train noise along here anywhere you stop. But there's a nice restaurant in there called Russo's, so we may take a walk up to that and see the folks up there at Russo's, maybe have a cocktail or happy hour up there. So nice just to relax. Tomorrow then we'll have an option of whether we want to do 4 locks or 6 locks. And next really stop that we want to do for sure is Little Falls, where we're going to be stopping there and maybe staying 2-3 nights, get some laundry done, get final packing done for our trip back to Oklahoma, Texas. We've been spending a lot of time going through the boat and getting things off the boat that we don't need, cleaning the boat and the inside, taking inventory of what we have, because it'll be about 7 or 8 months till we see the boat again, and not going to really remember what's on the boat. So cleaning out foodstuffs and eating that emergency can of Spam that is in there. So maybe be having that tomorrow for breakfast with some pancakes. All right, we have talked to Lock 11. And we've been in contact with Lock 11 on the phone earlier, just to kind of get an idea if there was anybody there on free power or not. Said no, also checked with Joshua. Joshua talked to Chris up here, and so we've kind of gotten to know some of the lockmasters out here, which is nice. He says he's ready for us, bring it in. We're going to tie on that starboard wall, so we are all set. And then it'll be a starboard tie as well for the wall for the overnight. And I think 4 locks, you know, I know people do like 8 locks or so in a day, and you can do it, but some point it gets a little tiring, and you also want to kind of soak up a little bit of the ambience, mystique, whatever, history of the Erie Canal. And the way that you get to do that is by stopping at these little places and talking to the folks. So I just really enjoy it, and particularly since hey, there goes a train, and we'll be hearing that all day. And so once we're down in the master stateroom and then here's to us, we don't hear it as much. The old Blues Brothers movie, I remember when they said, hey, they were in that room, and he goes, hey, how often does the train go by? And he said, so often that you won't even recognize it. So you get used to it. But if you're a light sleeper, it could be a problem. But even back at River Lake Park, you're going to hear it. Anyway, time to start paying attention to the lock here. Lock 11. Amsterdam, and we have gotten clearance to go in. You can see that long wall on this eastern side. There's no power there though. We'll have a long wall on the western side, but we'll have power. And we've already slowed it down. I'm going to slow it down a little bit more and take over normal steering here. Right now I have the boat on autopilot with just 1 or 2 degree corrections, aiming for that center part there. And at some point it's time to stop that, take over, and go to manual, which is about now.